Enoch the prophet, the seventh after Adam, one of the most controversial figures in the Christian religion. He is one of the few who allegedly stood before God in person and saw his true face. In the Book of Moses, chapter 7 verse 4, it says, Enoch spoke to the Lord, as one man speaks to another, face to face. It is important to mention that each of the three major works of Enoch's pseudepigraph contains stories of Enoch's activities in heaven. In 1 Enoch 14, he is taken up to heaven and kneels before the throne of God. In 2 Enoch 22, which we will look at in just a few seconds, he describes the vision of the Lord in detail. Because Enoch is allowed to see the face of God, he is given the title Prince of the Divine Face. In Book of Moses, chapter 7, verses 5 through 12, we learn that Enoch is shown in capsule form the world for the time of many generations. In Book of Moses, chapter 7, verse 20, Enoch is said to see God's work on earth from beginning to end. However, the Bible only mentions Enoch in 2 sentences in our day, and they describe him being brought alive to heaven with a heavenly chariot sent by God coming to pick him up. Today in Ethiopia, one of the temples preserves the most precious shrine of Christianity, the Gospels of Garima. The two richly illustrated books were created between the 4th and 6th centuries AD. The Grimm Gospels were written between the 6th and 6th centuries AD. It is perhaps the oldest and most complete Bible in the world, and the Ethiopic Church is one of the earliest Christian churches. Curiously, the Bible of the Ethiopian Orthodox Church differs from the Holy Scriptures accepted in other Christian denominations. This version of the Old Testament includes the Book of Enoch. The Ethiopian Church considers the manuscript canonical, while other churches deny it in the creation of the New Testament. Many writings of ancient saints speak of Enoch with awe. Some of these manuscripts are also rejected and denied. Going back to those days, Enoch's words were accepted as God's. He was regarded as the spokesman of the Lord and the bearer of his word to the earth. After completing his teachings on the plan of salvation, Enoch began to prophesy. Evidence of this is found in Moses 6, where it says that he uttered the words of God. We will open a parenthesis for a second to look at the meaning of the word prophet. In Hebrew, nabi is either called or one who calls, one who speaks. This is the Greek translation of prophets, whence comes the English word prophet, also meaning a proclaimer or interpreter of divine matters which cannot be known except by special revelation. But to return to Enoch, he was taken to heaven with something he could not describe. Of course, he didn't know what a spaceship was, so he wrote about flying houses made of glass, and underneath he saw the planet Earth. This seems to be one of the first accounts in human history describing human abduction by aliens. But what does Enoch say?
And in the 10th heaven, Aravoth, I saw the face of the Lord like iron, glowing in the fire, and brought forth, emitting sparks and glowing. So even I saw the face of the Lord. But the face of the Lord is not to be spoken of. It is so very marvelous, exceedingly astonishing, and exceedingly fearful. And who am I to tell about the incomprehensible being of the Lord, and about his face, which is so extremely strange and indescribable? And how numerous are his commandments, and his many voices, and the throne of Jehovah, superlatively great and handless, and the stoles of the people all around it, the armies of the cherubim and seraphim, and their never-ceasing singing. Who can account for his beautiful appearance, which never changes, indescribable, and of his great glory? And I fell to the ground and worshipped the Lord. And the Lord with his own mouth said to me,
Be of good courage, Enoch. Do not be afraid. Stand up and stand before my face forever.
And I stood up.
And Michael, the archpriest of the Lord, picked me up and brought me before the face of the Lord. And the Lord said to his servants, proclaiming to them,
Let Enoch join himself and stand before my face forever.
And the Lord's glorious ones bowed down and said,
Let Enoch depart according to your word, Lord.
And the Lord said to Michael,
Go and take Enoch out of his earthly garment. And so Michael did as the Lord had told him.
He anointed me and clothed me. And the appearance of this oil is greater than the greatest light. And its oil is like sweet dew, and its fragrance is like myrrh.
And it is as the rays of the shining sun. And I looked upon myself, and became as one of his glorious ones, and there was no perceptible difference. And the Lord called one of his archangels, whose name was Vrevoil, who was swifter in wisdom than the other archangels,
and who recorded all the works of the Lord. And the Lord said to Vrevoil,
Bring the books out of my storehouses, and take a quill pen for writing quickly, and give it to Enoch, and read the books to him.
And he gave me from his hand the quill for writing quickly.
In the heavens, Enoch created 366 books in which he described everything that was revealed to him, the movement of the stars, the seasons, natural phenomena, and much more. The angel of God, Vrevoil, taught him for 30 days and nights without interruption, and Enoch recorded everything. God also revealed to him great secrets about the creation of the visible and the invisible, explaining how everything was created out of nothing. Enoch also describes the creation of the world, telling how God created light, water, the earth, and the heavenly bodies in 7 days. God also creates man, called Adam, from various components and gives him free will and so on. What is more interesting is what was revealed to Enoch about the future and the end of times. In the Book of Enoch in chapter 91, it is recorded that after Enoch's journey and return to earth, he began to prepare for the second ascension into heaven. But before that, he gathered all his family and shared an unusual prophecy. Methuselah, Enoch's son, asked his father if he would see him again. Enoch replied,
The heavenly guardians said I would return to this planet, but it will be thousands of years, so we won't see each other again.
The concept of a divine chosen one leaving and returning to earth is found in almost all religions. Jews look for the return of the prophet Elijah, who will come before the Messiah and bring an era of peace and justice. This will be the beginning of the end times. Then, at the appearance of the Antichrist before the world, that is, the second period of his life, God will send the holy Enoch and Elijah to the earth. The mission of these righteous men will be to expose the lawless one and to preach the truth. They will provide the first wave of resistance to the Antichrist until he takes over world government. Presumably, the Lord will send them to Jerusalem so that in these last earthly times, he can give the people a final and miracle-filled warning against the all-conquering deception. For 3.5 years, they will unhindered expose all the lies of the Antichrist throughout his second period, as he prepares to completely seize world power into his own hands. Because of the mask of meekness and benevolence, even towards his adversaries, the Antichrist will not be able during this period to prevent the prophet's denunciations and to use any violence against them. During this period, besides preaching, Saint Enoch and Saint Elijah will perform miracles in God's name. In Revelation 11:3 it says, And I will give unto my 2 witnesses, and they shall prophesy 1,260 days, clothed in sackcloth. I will give refers to God sending the holy Enoch and Elijah into the world. The reference to my 2 witnesses is a sign of the joint prophetic ministry of the saints. At his first advent, the Lord also sent out 2 of his disciples to preach and work miracles among the people. The period of 1,260 days is not accidental. It corresponds exactly to the second period of the Antichrist's life. After revealing himself to the people, the lawless one will seek through hypocritical behavior to present himself as the Messiah. The 2 great righteous men come to earth 7 years before the end of the world, and for 3.5 years will rebuke the Antichrist and try to bring people to their senses. These are the 2 olive trees and the 2 lampstands that stand before God, the Lord of the earth, says Revelation 11:4. According to Enoch, then the Lord will come down to the earth. 2. Share this prophecy with you. However, you must first know something else. Both Peter and Jude clearly state where the main problem begins that will pave the way for the Antichrist in God's church. It is the infiltration of key leadership and teaching positions in the church by totally carnal, greedy men who intend to deliberately pervert the true teachings of the church. This has been going on since the time of Peter and Judah, but it probably sounds just as familiar to our Ogg. This is Satan's attempt to destroy the New Testament Church of God in its infancy. Peter and Jude are very explicit in their condemnation of these false teachers. They are called some men or those men. And here we come to the point where Enoch prophesies what this will lead to and what will happen to those men.
Look, the Lord is coming with thousands and thousands of his saints to execute judgment on all, and to condemn every man for all his perfectly wicked deeds which he has done, and for all the grievous words which wicked sinners have spoken against him.
Enoch gave many prophecies that we can summarize in a few sentences. We will live in increasing depravity, greed, and debauchery, after which the Antichrist will appear, and it will be extremely easy for him to manipulate us into this situation. In the end, times we are given 7 years to reform those of us who want to. It is interesting that we can correlate this with the 7 days of creation. Actually, divine time can run the other way, and 7 days can be 7 earth years. Then follows the apocalypse, which this time will not be water-related as in the universal flood, but fire elemental, meteorite collisions and natural cataclysms, sort of like the supposed end of the dinosaurs. Even more briefly, Enoch predicted a total zeroing of the earth. Those who are righteous, or more accurately, good and pure of heart, will be saved. Those who are not, well, they will be left here to watch the end. Whether this heavenly horde that will descend will not actually be an alien civilization that has been watching us for years, and will come to save only those of us who are fit, so to speak. To go on elsewhere for a better existence remains only a mystery, but there is a different version of the Noah story in the Book of Giants. He was apparently chosen even before he was born. The newborn's skin was so white that it glowed, and his hair was like sheep's wool. Outwardly, he was a copy of the guardians and was perfect. The guardians of heaven believed that Noah would be the father of a new generation of people. According to these lines, it appears that Noah was apparently a genetically modified human created by aliens for new life on Earth. However, this is not the first account that talks about genetically modifying humans. That is why we suggest you continue this narrative by learning about the flood version of the ancient Sumerians and how the god Enki, the creator of humans, saved some of them. Click on the video to learn more about this hidden ancient story.